Oh, heavens. Hi, everybody. Oh, much better. I just went live on my regular page and I was wondering why nobody was there. Oh, Lord. Okay, gotta love me. Hi, everybody. Whoever's here. I can't see anybody's names yet. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Susan. I just went live on my regular page and I was wondering why I couldn't find anybody, and I was like, whoops, delete. Hi, Terry. Hi, Wanda. Good morning. Oh, I forgot to print. Bonus days start today. I know, it's kind of a ridiculous joke. I'm so blonde. Hi, Jenny. Hope you guys are all doing well today. So I went through the catalog, and so the big new catalog that we can share. Also, I was able to pre-order today from the holiday catalog. Whoop, whoop. So I got my paper shares ordered and my ribbon ordered. I do still have 2 ribbon share spots open. First come, first serve. So they are, there's a link. I think it should be on here too. There's a link. And there's also, I sent out my newsletter. There's a link on that. So if you would like to get a ribbon share, please let me know. And I will send the invoice right out. I think that's kind of it. Yeah, so bonus days start today and they run through August 3rd. So for every $50 you spend pre-tax and shipping, you earn a $5 coupon to use from August 4th to the 31st, which is great because it's just in time for when you guys can order from the holiday catalog. However, you can pre-order from the holiday catalog, which is now called the August to December mini, which really just rolls off the tongue. So I'm still calling it the holiday catalog. If you join as a demonstrator, you are allowed to order from the catalog, and you can actually pick your holiday stuff as your kit if you'd like. So just remember, that's pretty cool. Good morning, Deborah. It's bright and early. Wake up. I've been up since 5:15. I got up early so I could order from the catalog, so was super excited. Plus, I ordered 2 packs of catalogs. I did do the mailing selector, so if you already are a customer of mine, you should get one, but I have 2 packs just in case there's some that I forgot to send out. And today we are having a choice between painted poppies and Whiskey Business. So these are the 2 choices today, okay? So let me know what you guys want to see. I've seen a lot of cards made with this, with embossing, which would be super cool. And these cards are totally not poppy color. So again, I have a whole list. To have like a two-page list of ideas of stamp sets that I already own for ideas coming up. So happy to share those with you. Donna says whiskey. Never too early, right? Whiskey, whiskey. Got 2 whiskeys and I got a poppy. I'm going to wait and see. Another poppy. Who's going to be next? Oh, there's 3 poppies. Whiskey. Everybody's tied. You know, we can probably do one of each if we do them quick. So let me flip you down and we'll get started. So I'm going to show you. Let me move a couple of these things out of the way. You guys know me. I'm always aiming to make everybody happy at the same time because I can't just leave well enough alone. Okay, so we'll do the whiskey card first because I think that should be simpler. Now, we may also bring in these 3 stamp sets because they have some really awesome sentiments, especially this one's really cool. And just in case you missed it, I created, let me see, they're still up here unless I put them away. Maybe I did. Oh, gravy. Yeah, I think I put them away, and I don't want to go digging and make you guys wait any longer than you have to. So let me move this over. So I'm going to go ahead and flip you down. So look away if you get motion sick. And go away from the light. Thank you guys for all the shares. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, there we go. So I am settled. So once you hear me saying I'm settled, you're all good. Oh, just pinched my finger. I have my iPad here, so I'm going to do my very best to see the comments. So for the whiskey card, first off, let me show you. The whiskey card isn't really necessarily this. I'm going to just make a card with this. But if you are following along for the Poppy, we're going to make, so this is like 3 different ways you could do this card. So we're going to make this card here. Okay. And I know we do have recipes for these, but I'm going to just kind of wing it. So we're going to make the whiskey card first because I'm going to make that a little bit simpler. So we have that. And I'm going to do it on, let's see. You know, I kind of can't wait for the pre-order to come in because there is metallic, brushed metallic cardstock. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't have the catalog memorized yet, I believe it is in gold, silver, and bronze, I think. So I'm going to just score this real quick. All right. But I'm pretty sure that's what it's in. So I'm super excited. And I'm trying to make sure this doesn't look too dark. That's why I'm going to just do a little adjustment there. So if it does, I apologize. It could just be, oh, you know why? It's because my iPad. Because I touched it to look for the comments, and that always makes it weird. Okay, so we'll make this 4 1/4. So we'll do 1 here. So there's that. And I'm going to grab, because I think this will be really nice. Let's see if I can find something that kind of slightly matches. I have a big old fat stack here of, that would be nice, but I think it'd be a little too, I don't know, I might have to change off of this soft suede now. Let me see. This is the In Good Taste, I think is what it's called. In Good Taste DSP, yeah. This one I had to get a whole nother one of because I just loved it so much. I thought it was really nice. All right, so I might, you know what? I might actually be switching. I think I'm going to switch. So take this back. No soft suede. Put that on the side. I'm going to go with, oh, and there's a piece already cut. How convenient. I'm going to go with Early Espresso instead. That looks good. Oh, I'm going to use a piece of this. Okay. So I'm going to use a piece of this paper. Try and set this down so it doesn't get all wrinkled. That's the worst thing about me in this craft room, and it's kind of like me in my life. I'm always making everything just like a cluster of stuff here. That's the nicest way I can say it. All right, so that'll be 4 by 5 1/4, but I love when we craft live together because, so we'll put that there, because it makes me think of ideas as we go, which I think is really fun. I know lots of people, that kind of stuff makes them nervous, but I love crafting that way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the, oh my goodness. Well, clearly I didn't rub these on my arm or anything long enough because they are super sticky. I'm going to stamp the glass and the decanter. It's a little crazy. You see me putting on my arm. It's called stamp therapy. When you stick your stamps to your arm, it makes you feel better. Just kidding. All right, so you know what I might use? A little piece, just because I have it out. I might use a little piece of this as like a little bar to sit this on, so I might use that anyway. All right, so I'm going to stamp the glass and the decanter. I think I'm going to do them in black, and I think I'm going to do them in Memento because I'm going to fill them in with the Stampin' blends. Oh, woo, that's way too. I forgot I just inked this one recently, so it's a little goopy. Luckily for me, I also just watered up, what would you say? Got them ready to go, my Stampin' chamois. That's a little goopy. So, let me see. I might have to use one of my more dry mementos. My one was super dry, so I re-inked it, and now I think it's like a little too wet, so let's see. Okay, that looks much better. All right, now let me try with this again. And then worst case scenario, I can always use the other side of this for something else. Because I don't want it to be too wet. Oops, there's a hair stuck on there. Because this sometimes, if you have it that it's too wet, it kind of takes away from the detail. Yeah, that looks much better. So apparently my other memento needs to be on a timeout until I press a little bit more of that ink into the actual pad. Okay, so there's that. And let's take off the glass. All right, and we'll have this ready to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to give these just a second to dry. So I'm going to bring out the bronze and the soft suede. Now, and I'm also going to bring out the mango, because I'm trying to go for kind of that golden color, which we don't really have a gold. So if you are a person who may have Copics or Spectrum Noir markers, maybe they do have a gold, but we don't. So I'm going to try and improvise. I've never done this before, so hopefully it's going to work. So I'm going to start with the Mango Melody Light. I feel like this is kind of a goldeny yellow. So just bring in that. And I'm going to keep coming, even though we have this bend here, I'm going to color because you would normally see it anyway. So if you wanted to do no coloring, you could pretend like this was vodka, and then you wouldn't even have to color it in. But I don't know that you would put vodka in a decanter. And as a matter of fact, my grandparents have a ton of decanters at their house. And I know I always speak about my grandparents as if they're still alive, but I guess in my heart they are. So I could probably get some of these and bring them home to let our whiskey decant. Although I think it kind of gets drank faster than it would actually breathe. But you remember back in like the 60s and the 70s, how they used to have these decanters? So I'm going with light soft suede. I don't know if this is going to be light enough, but I'm going to bring just a little bit, being very gentle when I'm adding this in, because I don't want it to be too dark. I want it to give a little bit of color. I'm kind of just adding it to those little shaded spots there. And then I'm going to go back again with the light mango. But we used to have those bars set up. I mean, if you look at any of the older movies, you can see all those, which I think is really quite cool. I don't have those kind of in-home bars anymore. Although after all that's going on with the pandemic, you never know. They might make a humongous comeback. Okay, so there is that, which I think looks pretty good. Okay, now what I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to do this with the glass first, is, I'm trying to think if I want to do pool party, light pool party, or light, not balmy blue, maybe seaside spray. I'm going to try seaside spray and see what it looks like first. And I'm going to try it more so on the glass. So, you know, with a glass, you kind of have that clear look. So you don't really want to add it to the entire glass. Kind of trying to be a little bit, I guess this will be a work in progress to see what this glass looks like. I'm going to do the same over here. Because you want to color it in at least with a little bit, because you want to give the illusion that it's clear. And just by keeping it white doesn't really do much for it. You could probably also do this with a light gray. A super, super light gray. Bring this over here. There. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear all the underground noise that's going on under me with the background life living today. Rainbow Stampers down there hooting and hollering. Okay. So I'm going to kind of leave that, and then I'm going to come back in anyway with a little bit of the light pool party. I don't know, I almost think the pool party to me, even though it is a green, it kind of gives you more of that actual glass-like component. versus the balmy blue. Yeah, I'm going to just fill in. I'm kind of just going through the whole rest of the parts now. And if you go outside the lines, some of you may or may not like this, but I am going to fussy cut this, so it's not going to really matter if you go outside a little bit. I'm going to bring a little bit of Pool Party. Also kind of same for the ice. Now for the ice, I'm actually going to use the bullet tip. And just kind of hit the shaded spaces. There we go. Anybody have any slightly fun plans for the 4th of July? I know there's not very much going on here. We normally have a parade and all that kind of stuff, but none of that is obviously happening this year. A lot of people going to the beaches around here. Delaware is very close to us, as is Ocean City, Maryland. And actually, Delaware is closing back up again, I think tomorrow, because they have had such a humongous spike in positive cases. All right, now I know this is a little bit, it's going to be a little bit weird, so bear with me. Because even though these cubes are blue, I want to add just a little bit of the whiskey over top of them. So even though we have blue there, I'm going to go over them as lightly as I can. So there's kind of like a little bit of, you can kind of see the blue, but it's under the drink, if that makes sense. So these here, I've left, I'm actually going to come just a little bit here, so it kind of looks like it's sitting in there. I kind of did my best to try to leave part of the cube that's up a little bit more of the blue, but hopefully that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do, and actually, I think I'm going to do this beforehand. So normally I would do this after, but sometimes when you cut after you emboss, it kind of makes the paper stick up a little funny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut both of these out, and then we're going to clear emboss both of them. And if you wanted to, you could absolutely just clear emboss the part that has the beverage. So maybe we'll do that for the glass, and then leave the rest of it. Oh, there's a little bit here. Leave the decanter fully done. We'll have to see. Lost audio. Well, shoot, that's not good. All right, I'm going to give it a minute to see. The illegal fire. I think the illegal fireworks have been going on since Memorial Day. I'm really sorry. I don't know what is going on. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I see a lot of stuff going on lately with people on Facebook that it's not. Oh, yeah, and look how choppy it is. Oh, my God, that's awful. I don't know what it is. I think it's a Facebook thing. Like, they are really getting a little heavy with what they're doing. That's crazy. So if this is the case, what we might end up having to do is kind of start doing these on YouTube as a live and maybe sharing to Facebook, which I know a lot of you may or may not have a YouTube account. To get a YouTube account and be able to comment for free, all you have to have is a Gmail, and Gmail is free as well. So if you don't have a Gmail account, you can make one. So we may have to start traveling over to YouTube for more of our lives if this continues to happen, because I know that a lot of people are having trouble with the video component on Facebook staying up. And I mean, I can kind of understand. I understand why maybe they don't want people to have lives, but we're making crafts. We're not really doing anything crazy, so I am sorry about the interruption. Nobody else on the internet in this house, so I don't really know why. And I have a booster right below me, so it's definitely not internet service. Okay, so there are those two things. And thank you guys at least for telling me that it was going out, because I realized in the meantime. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I was talking about this probably when you lost me. I'm going to just emboss the drink part of this, but this one I'm going to emboss the entire thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab a scrap and put this down really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my heat gun, so it's going to be loud. That way it heats up. So I'm going to emboss the entire decanter. Oop. Okay, and then for this one, so what you could do is you could do a partial, so you could do kind of like that and work your way up. Or if you happen to have one that's open near you, this is a Versamark marker, and it works kind of the same as the Versamark does, and you can paint it, so you can kind of add on wherever you need. And the kind of neat thing is, once I've stamped this with the Versamark, it actually really enhanced the colors. So you could even just try that. I'm not sure if it'll stay nice after it dries, but it's kind of a good idea in the beginning. So let me just dump my clear embossing. Probably should have done an embossing buddy, but since I'm doing almost the whole thing, I figured we didn't really need it. Okay. Just put this back in. All right, now for those of you that may or may not have these, reverse tweezers are super helpful if you have something that's really tiny. You can also hold it down maybe with the point of your snips, but this should melt pretty quickly because I had the heat gun warming. So there's one. You can see it's really shiny. I'm going to drop that one, and I'm going to pick this up. And same thing, just going to heat. And it heats up really, really fast. And it gives you, I don't want to touch this yet, it's definitely hot, but it gives you a really cool finish to it because you can see it's shiny now. So that's pretty neat, right? Okay, so there we go. There is that. So these I have, I think I have a link of these on my blog for, actually, you know, I need to make a page with just my links. This, you can definitely get a Versamarker at any big box craft store. You could also, if you don't have time or the chance to go out and get that, you could use a blender pen and just pick up the ink, dip it in and do it like that. Or if you could also even use, if you didn't want to dip into your pad maybe necessarily, you could also use a clear block and put a little bit of it on there, the refill. Okay, so there's those two. Then I have my little piece over here. I'm going to end up trimming this off. I'm going to keep that out for scraps. So we'll just do, as we go along, that was 5 1/4. I'm going to do 1 1/2 inch panel because I don't want it to take up too much of the card, but I still want it to look neat. So we have our little plank stamp here. So just to make sure it shows up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Early Espresso. I love clear embossing. I love embossing. Embossing is my absolute favorite thing, and that is how I got hooked on stamping. Now what I'm going to do is, oh, this may be needing to be re-inked a little bit, is I'm going to kind of offset these, and I might end up still trimming this just a little bit, depending on what it ends up looking like. Just kind of turning it around. Also, that other stamp set that I used the other day for my thank you card, and thank you guys all for voting for me because that is how I got to be tied for 4th place, which is awesome. Where is it? I think it's right here. Pinewood Planks. Maybe I put it away. Yeah, I think I must have. That one also has some little rivets in it that you could add, so that's kind of another fun thing. So we have those pieces there. And while I have this out, I thought I had, here it is. You know, got a dirty sponge yet again that I didn't clean from last week. So I'm going to just sponge. This is black too, actually. I might stick with this. Sponge a little bit of this on the edge. You can even kind of rough this up a little bit if you wanted to make it look a little bit weathered. So I'll show you what I mean. So I kind of sponged the edge of that whole thing, right? Now I'm going to crinkle it up and uncrinkle it. And then, I don't know if there's enough black on here or not. Just kind of, there's a little bit of black. And there's a little bit of now espresso. Just kind of make it look, that might be got a little bit too dark, but you can go lighter if you want. Once it dries, it will be a little bit lighter as well. Okay, there's that. This spot right here is a little bit dark, a little bit too dark for me. I'm going to try something real quick. I don't know if this is or isn't going to work, but, and this is a completely not matching color, so I'm just going to try this. I'm going to spray this and see if I can lift off a little bit of the ink. See if it works. No, it didn't. It just kind of made it sparkly. Okay, so just be a little lighter handed on it if you don't want it quite as dark as this. All right, let me scoot this all over so I don't make a mess, which is still almost guaranteed to happen. All right, so we have our pieces here. And we're going to just assemble these. I want to see kind of what they look like before I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of just rough up the edges here a little bit. I don't know, just kind of giving it that worn look. And here, something like that. And then what are we going to do? Straight up, you're the best. I like that one. We're going to do that one. Or even sending you an old-fashioned birthday card would be really cool too. Okay. You know, it's kind of funny just thinking about this whole thing with the internet going in and out, and I don't mean funny in the haha sense, but the other day, if you guys were watching Lisa, she was doing a few new products for Crafter Solutions. So if you missed that, definitely check it out. But like partially through, and I'm just stamping this in Memento ink there. She was like, did I lose you? I don't know if I lost you or not, but it's kind of like the same thing. You have the feeling where you constantly have to ask people if you're still there, because I'd hate to be making this card for nobody. And then the fact that you guys miss it. So it's a little bit annoying. I'm sure it's just as annoying for you. I cleaned that stamp off and I'm actually going to stamp it. I want to see what it looks like. I'm going to stamp it just a little bit over top of this. I went really light in crumb cake. So I stamped it and stamped it the second time there just to kind of give a little something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this out and I'm going to do my very best to kind of keep it straight. And I'm going to cut right to that plank, which actually coincidentally, this fits perfectly on here. So that's pretty nice to know. Let's see if I can get up here. Kind of cutting right along that line. Okay, here's that. Okay. And I'm going to get out a fresh sponge that is not completely saturated with black ink. And very lightly, I'm going to sponge the edge with crumb cake. I don't want it to be too dark. That looks cool. All right, so there we go. Oh, that even looks nice sideways. My niece would love that because she likes everything sideways. Just slightly sideways. Okay, so let's finish putting this together and then we'll move on to our second card. Make sure this is nice and flat. So the In Good Taste DSP has some awesome textures. It's really, really nice. It has tile, like woven textures. Really, really cool. If you haven't checked out that paper, definitely give it a look. So I'm going to put this down flat, and then I'm going to pop some of the rest of this stuff up. Now this may or may not go 100% flat because a lot of it is curled, but that's okay. We're going to just kind of put this on here the best we can. And if the parts curl, that's okay. I kind of have it almost lined up to the bottom here. So if you really want it lined up, you could. You could also save yourself a piece of DSP if you want to trim it a little bit. And I'm just kind of, while I'm pressing this, going along and pushing with my bone folder. All right, so we'll have this one a little higher. Maybe this one in front, and then put that one on there. So I'm going to do, if I can find the large ones. Yep, I'm going to do full size or the big black dimensionals. So there's a couple. Put 2 on the back of this. And I'll put a couple on the back of this. Oh, I might need a mini one there. After all, put one more. Okay. All right, now I like to get out my super old paper piercer. This one pulls the backing off like nobody's business. If you aren't exactly sure where you want to put this and you're like, oh, what if I want a little higher? You can put a teeny bit of liquid glue on the back of anything that has sticky, dimensionals, foam strips, anything, and it kind of lets you wiggle it around a little bit. You can see. So we'll put that up a little higher. And then we'll put this right. It's a little crooked. Guess it depends on how much you've had to drink, right? If it's crooked or not. There you go. And add this one. Oh, that looks really cool. I like it a lot. Super fun. Wasn't planning on making this card today, so this looks really great. Pretty simple design. Just some DSP. Then we made our own second layer of DSP. You could, though, there's lots of pieces of pattern paper. If you remember me going through those, so you could cut out a little strip of that if you didn't want to make your own. Honestly, this is a little darker. I would have gone a little bit lighter, but I got a little heavy-handed with the black ink. So there is number 1. Now let me just put a couple of these things away, and we will. Remember, we used light and dark Mango Melody, and then the light soft suede to get the alcohol look. And then honestly, I don't really know which one I like better, because now that I look at this, I feel like I need to add a little bit more in here. I kind of like the Pool Party Light. Gives you more of like a glass look, but I guess you could use both of them together. So Seaside Spray Light and Pool Party Light, just depending on which one you like better. I did not end up using the bronze, which I thought I was going to use. I didn't use that one at all. I just used the light soft suede. So let me move all these things out of the way, and we will make our other card. Okay. All right. Just wipe these real quick. Actually cut my chamois into 4 pieces. And I find that it's a little bit easier to use. So if you've never thought of doing that, it is kind of a good idea, because you can get into the little nooks and crannies a little bit easier. All right, so now, that one again was Whiskey Business. So now we're going to move back. So you can find these on page 18. So we're just going to make one. I think what we'll do is, maybe we'll do, and I think I'm going to use a little bit different of a color. I'm going to use just jade. But I think we're going to do the simpler version. So this second version here has some ribbon, which actually that looks really pretty. That's not really very difficult of an addition. And then this third one, it's got different layers. So it has DSP, it has an embossed layer, it has a ribbon layer, and then there is also embossing and cutout words. So I think we're going to do like maybe some version of the middle of the line card here, okay? So I already have a piece cut out. This is from a card I made the other day, and it was leftover. I actually ended up cutting it out. So if you layer So say, for example, if this one would have had a layer underneath. So we'll just pretend like this. So say if we had a layer underneath, the one you're not going to see, I often die cut pieces out of, and then I just save them for using later. So this is a piece of just jade. We're going to use this on the front instead of what I believe is mint, which is Donna's absolute favorite color. So I know she's going to be really sad that there's no mint involved in this card. And she's probably giving me angry emojis right now as we speak, which is fine. So I'm going to go with, I think these would be really pretty together. That one, that's kind of like looks almost like a little bit like a blanket. So I'm going to stick with the same paper. So this is the In Good Taste. And here's some of that other paper I was telling you if you wanted to use, you could substitute out here. Got this one that's a little bit lighter. So there's lots of, there's another one, lots of patterns. Might be pretty. Let's see. I really like the colors that they have with these because they really run the gamut of like really soft, but then you also have like these little brick pieces. Let's see. Oh, I might go with something between these two. And then a background layer. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go with, what do I want to do? Gray granite. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with gray granite. Yeah, gray granite is going to be the base. So we already have a base. We have this. We're going to use a little piece, might go this way though. A little piece of this, a little piece of this, a little piece of ribbon, and then a white piece. Okay, so we have our plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down. I usually will kind of start with a 4-inch piece. That way if I want to make whatever I'm making, I'll have 3 4-inch pieces. And I'm going to trim this down to 5 1/4. Okay, so this measures 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut this down because we don't really need a big piece. And I'm going to just cut off a 1/2 inch. Nah, I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch. Just that way I have a little bit more gluing space. So we have 3/4 of an inch piece. And we're going to do the same with the brick wall, stone wall, whatever that is. And I'm going to cut it down again to 4 inches. Trim it down to 5 1/4 so everything lines up. So this is just going to be a really simple card. Hi, Megan. You must be somewhere on the other side of the world if it's a good evening, I'm betting, huh? Australia, UK, something like that. Thank you for joining me regardless. This one I'm going to make a little bigger. So I'm going to make this piece. Let me just see if I have an inch. Be like that. And then we'll have a white panel. Listen to me. A white panel. I think that's good. So I'm going to make this piece an inch. So I'm going to cut this down right here. All right, so we have 1 inch 3/4. Then we have our soft suede, our gray granite is our base. Now for this one, what we could do is we could layer these on here and then put, let me see, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with this, if I want to trim it. I think I'm just going to trim. So we have that there. That's about 2 1/4. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to cut this down to 3 because we can always cover it, but we can't make it bigger. Okay, so that's how our panel is going to go. All right, so once again, I have this piece I cut out the other day. I'll show you what it is from. This is an amazing bundle if you don't have it. Tasteful Touches. I love the stamp sets. They're very, very detailed, but more so than that, I love the amount of dies. If you get the bundle, so that's this one. But this one is even really cool. I actually have a card coming up next week for Kylie's demonstrator hop again, and it uses this. It's really cool. So really, really pretty. And I think I used this one as well. But these have lines on both sides. Some of them have stitching. Really, really great bundle. So if you buy these together, the dies and the stamp, you do save 10%. Okay, so let me grab my painted poppies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this super simple. That way it's very, very easy to recreate. So we're going to take our poppy. Oh my goodness, this is another one I clearly didn't touch onto things enough to reduce the stickiness. So we're going to take that. We're going to do this piece here. That fit on that's a little too small. So this is just the little fill-in dots. And then we have some leaves. And I think, yep, there's also a small leaf. And there's another small flower. You could even use this solid image here if you wanted to, but I'm going to stick with the splotches for now. And I'm going to put the little tiny splotch too on one just in case I have to fill something in. Okay, so I am going to attempt to stick with very light pink, okay? But I'm going to stamp the flowers first in the outline. I'm not going to be particular. They're going to just line up how they line up. I'm going to do my best to try to follow the pictures, but I'm not going to make any promises. So we'll see what it looks like. So let me grab my memento that's not super wet. We're going to start up here. Okay, there's one. Bring this guy in over here. Bring this person over here. And I probably should have a piece of scrap. Put this somewhere where it won't ruin anything. I'm going to grab just a little scrap here. And we'll do the large one more time. Even if it's cut off a little bit. So there's that. So those are the flowers. Then we're just going to kind of bring in the leaves a little. You could also, if you wanted to, die cut some of these and kind of adhere them if you wanted to make it a little bit more fancy. So there's lots of options of what you could do. I'm going to bring one in the other way up here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so I still have my little splatters, but those are going to go with some color. So I'm going to stick with the same thing. I'm going to go with just jade. I might have to stamp this off some because it is a little bit darker, but that's the color we're going to use for the leaves. And then I think I'm going to go with Flirty Flamingo for the flower. So hopefully it'll look pretty good. So just give this a wave just to make sure. Is there a die cut? Hold on, I will tell you. Because, you know what? What is the one I have? There is a die cut to both of the flowers. So here, oops, hold on, where does this one go? Here's the one. Here is the single, so the smaller one here. So it has it for both of those. It has it for the single, which is this stamp. There's two of them, so you can actually stamp them and cut two out at a time. They don't have one for the multi-leaves, so that one you would have to fussy cut, but they do have dies, so that's even better. Okay, so I'm going to do the leaves first, and I'm just going to use the small one. And again, you can see this is pretty dark, so stamp 1, 2, 3, 4 even. All right, so I'm not going to stamp this full strength. So I'm going to stamp it off once, twice, 3 times a lady. You knew it was going to happen, right? 2. Turn this one this way. I was telling my niece the other night, I was listening to Say You, Say Me on the way home from the grocery store. And I sent her a message and said that I used to love singing this song when I was exactly the age she is now. So she found it and listened to it. Only reason I loved it so much is because it had like a total tempo change in the middle of the song, which I just thought was really cool. So I love Lionel Richie. Okay, so I'm now moved on to Flirty Flamingo. I want to see what this looks like. I think that's a little bit dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by doing it second stamp. Same thing again. Okay, then I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick, I like Blushing Bride is a prettier pink than I think Petal Pink is. I don't know, that could be unpopular opinion, but I don't know, Petal Pink is a strange pink in my opinion. So I'm going to take the one that was the fill-in, and And I'm going to clean it first because this definitely has a lot. It's not a solid image, but it's got a lot of texture to it. So I'm going to stamp this. See what this looks like. This one is, I wonder if I ever inked this up in the wrong color. Now it makes me wonder if I didn't. All right, so I'm going to do Blushing Bride. And I don't know what it's going to end up looking like because I think I might have inked this with the wrong color re-inker at one point, but I'm going to stamp it off once just to be safe. And, okay, so there's that. It doesn't look so bad. Okay, so again, Blushing Bride, Flirty Flamingo, Just Jade. Those are the colors that we used. I love this Just Jade. It's a great color. Now, I think I'm going to try one more thing, just because can't leave well enough alone. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do it with the little one. That way, if I mess it up and I don't like it, I'm going to take the little splatter, and I'm going to do Gray Granite, and I'm just going to stamp like a couple, and I probably am going to stamp this all first. 1, 2, no. Just going to stamp a couple, like just a couple different areas. You want up there. Okay, that's good. You could also, if you wanted to, if you don't want to do that because you're afraid you might mess it up, you could also, which I think this would look neat, and I might just add it anyway. You could take your, you do want to make sure you cover your workspace when you do this, so don't get the rest of your card messed up. Take your brush tip of your marker, so this is basic gray, so it's going to be a little bit darker. And you take the cap and you can flick, which gives like that cool splatter effect. I don't know. I always like that. I think it looks really neat, and it doesn't really require a tool except a marker. Okay, so let me move some of these over, and we're going to put this together. So I have this. We have our base, our layers. Oh, crackers. Hold on. Forgot a sentiment. Let me go back. Let's see. Grab a piece of paper. So I did bring what goes along with it. Peaceful Moments. This coordinates. So what do you guys think? Thinking of You with All My Heart is a nice one. Happy Birthday. This one that they showed is a sympathy card, which my father-in-law's mom just passed away a few days ago, but I made him one with the Lily Pad Lake stamp set, so I don't necessarily need that, but it would really be a beautiful card. We have this one. We could do You've Got This. That might fit in there. I have to die cut this with something a little bit different. Massive Thanks is always a really nice one. The Thank You is really pretty. We could do that. And then we have a Grandkid. This one is a great one. If you're a grandparent, you're going to be a grandparent, you know a grandparent. It's a really fun stamp set to have. So, oh, you're a little late. No worries. That's okay. I'm still here. Happy birthday. So I'm going to go with, what do you think? Either happy birthday or thank you. Anybody have an opinion one way or the other? Still waiting. I'll give you a moment to type. I know it's like a little bit of a delay. And I'm going to mount the thank you in case anybody chooses that. And if not, we'll go with the birthday. One thing I like about this stamp set is the script is really, really nice. You're going to be a Grammy in September. Well, congratulations. That's when the Rainbow Stamper's birthday is in September. Wonder if it'll be the same date. Wouldn't that be fun? All right. All right. Happy birthday. See it. Got it. Okay. So I'm just going to do this in basic gray to kind of keep the softness instead of doing a black. And then we'll die cut this. Whoopsie. We'll die cut this with something. So I'm going to pull out, just because I had these out a moment ago, the Tasteful Touches. And let's see. Maybe we'll do this one. Is it going to fit in there? A little too tight. That fit on there? Not so bad. Let's see. This one works really well. Actually, we're going to do this one because this one works really well with a lot more stamps than you'd think. This is a double stitch, so it has stitching on both sides, like a kind of like that sparkle punch that we had. So I'm going to run this through the Big Shot. All right, all we got to do is put this together. There's that. So you can see it does that, and then it even has it on the outside. So I think I'm going to do a card with this, with a whole bunch of different circles punched, and then pop the stuff up in different colors, because I thought that was really cute. So I'm kind of glad I just did that again, because I remembered and then I forgot. And then I'm going to take a little piece of the, I believe it's metallic edged, is that what we're still calling it? Metallic edge satin ribbon, something along those lines. I'm going to cut a piece of this. This is still available in silver and in gold. And now all we're going to do is put this together. So I'm going to, just while I have it, because I can't leave anything alone, I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo and kind of go around the edge of this. Okay, so there's that. That way it'll kind of stick out a little bit. And we're going to put that up on a dimensional, and you know I'm always telling you don't put black dimensionals under white paper, but I can't find the white ones at this moment, and I don't want you to wait any longer, so I'm just going to break my own rule and put that right there. Looks pretty good. You could even add some little gems or doodads if you wanted to there. Doodad is the technical term, just in case you didn't know. So I'm going to fold this. There's that. Okay, so we're going to kind of have to do a little bit of assembling to see how this is going to line up before we actually stick it. So we'll go like that, and this, and this. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I am going to take, where are my adhesives? Here they are. Stampin' Seal. And run this down here. And then I'm going to just add my ribbon. And I might have to trim this a little bit. But I'm kind of only adding it. So hopefully... Oop, that's a little too close. So hopefully... Oh, did I push too hard? Well, let's see. Hopefully just a little bit of the white shows. I think that looks better. Okay, so there's that. While I have it, I'm just going to trim this. Okay. Then I'm going to put, you know what? I better put it on here, because if I put it on that ribbon, it might goop all up. I'm going to put a little piece of Stampin' Seal onto this DSP. And I'm going to layer this as best I can so it matches top and bottom. Let's see if I can pick this whole thing up. There we go. So there's that. Now, since this one is paper, it should stick easier to that. We're going to put some here. And while I'm at it, I'm going to put some, and you probably don't need this much anymore, but I think kind of once you do it a lot, you feel like you do it all the time. So I'm going to put this and just want to see what it looks like. So if we're just going to imagine trying to figure out how much space I need. So we can let a good amount of this show. I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to put it just gently on here, because I want to make sure I don't take up too much space. Let's see what this looks like. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to press this, and then I'm going to add one more piece here and here. Okay. We have that. And the Stampin' Seal, I will tell you, works way better than the snail. Way, way, way better. Okay, so there we have. And this, I think when I pulled this off, there's a little bit of adhesive stuck here, so it's kind of sticking to my finger. So kind of make sure once you put yours, you probably don't really want to move it like I did, because it's a little bit sticky. So what I'm going to do, if you still have a embossing buddy, is I'm going to just tap this over top, because the powder will absorb into the sticky and it should take away the stick. So it's still a little bit there, but it's much better than it was. I'm hoping they bring this back again. I don't know why that retired. That was crazy. And then this card is almost too pretty to add this sentiment to, but I'm going to put it over here, I think. You could always go with a smaller one, so if you want to take this piece off, you could just put this down, but since I already did it, I'm going to put it on there. Just like that. There you go. So, hopefully you like these two cards today. Let me move this one out of the way. So again, I'm just going to put this down here. This was with the Whiskey Business stamp set. And then this used two different things, plus we used the dies from something else. So we did Peaceful Moments was our happy birthday, Painted Poppies was the stamp set, and then we also used the die from Tasteful Touches. So I'm just going to put that back here in case you're wanting to remember what we did today, and make sure they're all in the screen there so you can see them. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this today, and I do always try to make stuff that you guys ask for to see. So if there's something that you do want to see, the only way I'm going to know is if you tell me, so make sure you let me know. I am happy to make anything that you guys would like to learn how to make, as long as I already have the stamp set. So I've already bought a lot of stuff, so I don't want to get things if I can help it until I decide to do a new order again. Once I get my holiday order in, the August to December mini catalog, I will share that with you guys. Remember, I do still have two ribbon share spots open, so if you're interested in those, you have to go over to my website, which is rachthestamper.com, and if you click the link, it will let you fill in there. First come, first serve. So thank you guys for joining me. If you'd like to get any of these supplies and more, you can go to my online store 24/7, no mask required, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Also, Bonus Days begins today and runs through August 3rd, in case you missed it in the beginning. For every $50 you spend pre-tax and pre-shipping, you get a $5 coupon to use from August 4th to the 31st, which is pretty awesome as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Once I finish this up and post the video to YouTube, if you're watching via YouTube, I will have all the measurements for this. There should be a link. I usually try to put it on the bottom of the YouTube description. It'll have a link to my blog with all the measurements of everything we did today and all the supplies that were used. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I will do my best to see you maybe on, probably not tomorrow, but you never know, maybe tomorrow or Friday. If not, I hope you have a wonderful 4th and you have not a zillion fireworks, but at least a little tiny bit of excitement to celebrate our wonderful country. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Take care, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye.